This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, hi, good morning everyone. Sorry for the delay. So we'll start now. So yesterday we have seen the demo, right? So now today we will start in the system to develop the icon. Okay, let me share the screen. Just a moment. Yeah, Rajesh.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rajesh, tell me.
Yeah. Is it started now?
No, just now we are starting now.
Okay. Okay.
No, yeah. So I hope you can see the screen.
Yes.
So yeah, we start now. Yeah, please put on mute now. Yeah, thank you. So, if you have any questions, then only just open and ask me. Otherwise, always put on mute so that you will not see any noise on the call. Okay. So, today we will try to develop the iflow in the system. Okay, to understand how the development will start and how to deploy and how to you know, uh, see the monitoring, everything for the CPI. Okay. So here is the, to log into the CPI, we have the URL link. Okay. Then we have user ID and password. So once you enter into the URL and just give the user ID password, you will enter into the system. So once you enter, you can see, so this is you logged in through web UI. Okay. So, uh, you can see here there are four different tabs. Okay, a discover, a design, monitor, and settings. Discover tab. In the discover tab, what actually it helps the discover. So in the discover tab, I think most of you know it. All the prepackaged solutions are all prepackaged interfaces that are available under discover tab. So this discover tab is available publicly to everyone. Okay, if anyone wanted to see what is the new packages that are delivering by SAP, you can just see it in the discover tab. And this discover tab is keep on, they will add a new packages to the into the discover tab. As of now, if you see, there are 247 standard packages that are delivered by the SAP. So these 247 is across all the domains. So be it success factors, okay, I mean I can say all the line of businesses. If you wanted to see it here, you can see the different line of businesses. For the human resources domain, 56, finance domain 31, sales 29, so like that. So each domain there are packages that are delivering by the SAP. Okay. And these packages are keep on growing. Okay. So based on their standard packages based on the common practices among the systems. In the from the feedback based on the feedback from the customers, they keep on creating the new packages, and and those packages are available in the Discover tab. So in the Discover tab, first we need to search the package is available to meet to our customer requirement. Okay. So if not, then you will go for the custom package. Okay. So now let's look at next tab is the design tab. So in this design tab, you can see, I mean, if you wanted to build the iflow from scratch, you will start from design tab. Okay. So in the design tab, you will create the you just create the folder for you, then you can start creating the iflow from here. Next, monitor. So once you design the iflow, you wanted to see whether it is successful or not, right? So those things you can monitor under this page. Okay. So in this tab monitor, it will show you how the iflows are, you know, what is the status of the message, status of the content, and how we can maintain the security credentials, and things like that, like data stores, because we keep the data temporarily in the system for processing the message, processing the data. So therefore, how to maintain the variables and other things, and the logs, how to monitor the logs, everything you can monitor under the tab called monitor page. And settings. So settings here, as of now, it is not yet fully released, but going forward it release for the transport. Okay. Because generally transport means from one tenant to another tenant you want to make a transport. I mean, you want to move the integration content. So in that case, like in SAP system, how it will move the same way here also. Okay, that is the transport. Next is the repository. So you want to keep the objects that are specific to the some you need to keep that repository to use it reusable things, then you can use it in the repository and based on the location and all. And these two tabs are not released yet. It is going to release in the coming months. Okay. So now we will start to develop a custom iflow. Okay. I'm giving a general view how what is what here in the tabs. Okay. So now we will start develop the,
So small query
yeah.
here, like how initially how do we get this URL, like web URL? Like we need to ask the client like to provide us the web URL with the credentials, or when during the implementation phase, like how do we get this link?
Yeah, customer SAP will send you once you're registered to the subscribe to the tenant. I mean, subscribe to the SAP integration service, and they will send by email. So by email, they will send you all the details about URL and um, the other URLs about you know to connect it to the user administration part, the cloud platform URL. All the details will send by email, and the SE is ready. What who has requested initially.
Okay, so by default, like do we need to have any authorizations or something like that, or by default it will have all the authorizations?
By default, it will be there. You wanted to assign additional authorizations, then you go and assign into the system. I mean, into the in the user administration. By using user administration, you need to do that. At the same time, you don't want all these four tabs, and like people who wanted to monitor, they don't want a design thing, then you will remove some authorizations also. So all the things you will manage it under user administration in the cloud platform.
Okay, so for that we have a separate you will have a separate URL.
Yeah, separate URL for that.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions from others? Okay. So now we will just start develop the iflow. Okay. Um, just to see, I mean, you will just idea about how the inbound or the outbound systems that will be configured in the system. Okay. So therefore, we will start in that point. So let's start. As I told you, the iflow development that will start from the design tab, right? So here you can just create the package. Let's create. Here we can put it. 7 CPI. So here, if you want to start the iflow, you just click on add. There you click on integration. So now you have the two options, whether you create or the upload. You have already created the artifact that is there in at your place. I mean, you have that artifact, you will upload it. If you don't have it, then create. So here let's say mm, file, file.
If we want to, I have a small query over here.
mm,
If we want to import our iflow from Eclipse,
mm.
then also from here only we need to do it, right?
Yeah, you can use anything, whether you have the Eclipse or somewhere and you wanted to upload into the tenant, you can use this button upload.
Okay.
Okay, so now just click on it. So by default, you will get the screen like this. So there are three components that you can see it: sender, integration process, and the receiver. Okay. So now we will start from the inbound perspective, right? So sender to the CPI. So sender here is there, and you wanted to connect it to the integration process. So here, what we'll do is we'll start from the sender system and we'll connect it to the CPI through SOAP adapter. Okay, so let's say this is the SOAP and want to connect it to the CPI message. So now if you see, these are the list of adapters that are available in order to use from sender to CPI. So now let's click on the SOAP. So then I will use the message protocol called 1.x. Then the SOAP adapter that shows. So now we will configure the adapter. Configuration is nothing but to give the details about the soap adapter, and so that that will use to connect it to the CPI. Okay, so let's use this in the soap. You can just click on the connection. Let's say in the connection details, initially uh, uh, the general tab is like just give the name and description. That's it. Okay, so here you can see. So, so let's click on the connection details. So here you can give the address. Right? Try one. Okay. So this address, why we are giving the address in this field? Because we have selected the soap adapter, so that every soap adapter will generate the endpoint URL. That is the purpose of using the soap adapter. Okay, so in order to generating the endpoint URL, whatever you have given this address, that will come at the end. Okay, so so that it will be generated as a unique with associated this iflow. So therefore, you are giving the some the defined value in the address field. Next is the service definitions. So there are two ways that you can use SOAP adapter. One is through manual, and the another one is the WSDL. So by uploading that WSDL, you have the WSDL file. WSDL file is basically you will get it from the system that you are connecting, from the system that you are sending it. For example, if you just send a some other third party system, and they have given the web services, okay, and that WSDL file you will upload into that. Why we need to upload this file here? Because in that WSDL file it contains the input values. What are the values that has to be sent to the CPI? So those things will be defined in the WSDL file. So once you upload here the CPI will understand what are the input parameters that they wanted to send. Okay, so that is about the WSDL file. Since we don't have WSDL file, just select manually. So in the manual, what happens is there is no input parameters. Okay, so it will shows the basic connection from the sender to the CPI. And the next tab is the message exchange pattern. I will I will tell you the uh, detailed explanation using output. Okay, and tomorrow in the next class, after seeing the message detail. After you understand about the exchange properties between the messages, then you can see this difference between one way and request reply. As of now, I'm just putting request reply. And next is the authorization. So this authorization, somebody is asking me, right, how do you manage the roles and users? So for this purpose, we need to manage it like if that user role, the below role that is not available, then this adapter cannot be used. Okay. So of course, by default, this has been assigned. If you wanted to remove for some users who don't want to use soap adapter, they can use it in the authorizations. Okay, in the authorizations we have two type of authorization. One is the client certificate by uploading the digital certificate, and the user role, which is predefined available in the tenant. Okay, that is called ESB messaging dot send. These are the basic connection details that we will provide for the SOAP adapter. Next is the security. This is so in order to connect it to the web service security, you have the digital certificate that is in place, then you can use it in the via manual configuration in the channel. So this is for the on the in the network protocol to connecting to the from one network to the another network. And here this is the size of the file to write to send over the network. Okay, so the body size and attachment size. Body size means the what do you call here? Body size means the meaning of body size is you have to define the header's properties. You know, like the uh, DS for or the persistency. But whatever you define those things, that will come the size of the body. Attachment is nothing but a payload. So this is the default value, minimum value, but you can update up to 1 GB. So up to 1 GB capacity of the files data that will process. This is not about to storing, just to delete the what you call the buffering. Over the network, how much is at a time is passing on that over the network. So that speed you can say, that size you can define here. And now we will what to do is just put the time in. You can use it. And then I will discuss these things completely. So now, yeah. So you have seen on the inbound, right? But at the same time, if you okay. So as of now, just remove this. So we just use the soap adapter and just updated some manual message in the body. We will see what kind of output we'll see it. So whatever the mention is here, you will get it the same thing through the soap. So when you are generating from the soap adapter, right? So this is the base. I mean, there are so many complex things we will explore going forward. Okay, but here is the place where you develop the iflow. Okay, a basic iflow that is we just started. Now what we do is we will deploy the iflow. Okay, then we will see the output of the iflow. So for deployment, what you say is first you need to save it, right? So save as a version. Just you can OK. So now it is saved. In order to run the iflow, you need to just press a deploy button. Just click on deploy. You want to deploy? Yes. Trigger for deployment. Okay. So if you see this message, trial inbound successfully deployed. So this is nothing but to deploy the to deploy the iflow, right? So once you deployed, where we want to go and see that the iflow monitored or not, we'll go to the monitor page, right?
Monitor.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is our iflow name? Trial underscore inbound. Right? So just go to monitor page. Once you go to the monitor page, you can see these sections. Okay, so we will see our iflow under the section called integration content. Okay, so just click on the integration content. Just click on the integration content, and you can find our iflow, the status showing trial inbound. This is the one, right? Yeah. So now if you see the endpoint which is generated. You remember there you are given the address here. So that is added at the end of the URL. to identify to determine is a unique URL for this iflow. So the iflow is generated the endpoint URL. So by using this endpoint URL, you can call this iflow. That is the main purpose of having SOAP adapter. So here you can call this outside of the iflow. I mean outside of the SAP network. Once you call, it has to work in the tenant. Okay. So the requirement is whenever the customer is asking, you just create the web service URL and you give me whenever we want, we will call the web service, therefore it will execute the icon, right? So in such cases, you need to use the SOAP adapter, therefore the endpoint URL will be created. Right? Next tab is the status details to show you the status. Next is the artifact. So here it shows the iflow that we have created and the messages. Once you deploy that, you will create the messages, right? That you can see it here. And the log configuration, here log configuration is nothing but you wanted to, whenever in case of getting error, you wanted to debug the iflow, okay? Then you can use these options, debug and trace. By enabling the log label, you can debug step by step. Okay, so now we will call this URL. Okay, we'll call this a URL from outside. Therefore, we will see whether it is uh, executing the what kind of a status it is processing it. So in order to call this URL, you need some application, right, from outside. Okay, that application you can use it through SOAP UI, or you can use it through Postman app or any other app where you can call the endpoint URL. You can use that. So let me open the SOAP UI for calling this one.
SOAP UI is a software where we need to install on our laptop or the machine.
Yeah. So this is the application like to use the endpoint URL and all from the UI. You can use it. You can install this software. I think I will ask him to send you the list of applications. Those has to be installed on our laptop. SOAP UI and other things.
Means this SOAP UI can behave like an the source system or the destination system, right? And
I
from
can't
where
say
we
this is a
get
source system.
the
In order to run, for example, not only SOAP, let's take it a Postman app. There is another application. Okay, so these are APIs. These are the applications that you can call the particular URL link, so that it will connect to the system. And in order to connect, once you connect it, then it will in the tenant it will run that iflow when you are calling that system. So it's not about a sender. It's not a sender or receiver. Whereas to trigger the event, we can use these applications.
yeah to simulate the environment.
Yes.
Like it's only to simulate the environment, or in live scenarios, do we have to install these on the client production system or something like that?
Hmm?
This application we have to install on our laptop or on the developer's laptop, and
Yeah.
this application has to be installed on the production server also.
Now why production server? Customer don't do that, no. I mean, as a customer, they don't want to run this OPI, you know. For developers, we need it.
Okay. In that case, like I'm a bit confused and not clear on the, I mean, what is the user of this application of the SOAP UI right now? Like what we are trying to do.
So, okay, just wait, and after that, let me first run this one, then you can ask the same question, then we will discuss. So first, let run this through Sophia. So now we downloaded the WSDL. Okay, so I just opened the Sophia now. Okay, so in the Sophia, I just whatever to download it. File one, click on the soap.
It is trial one, right? You have mentioned it is a trial one. It is trial one, TRAIL one.
Okay, yeah, no, it's a trial one only. Just to remove that word. And it's okay. So now you just copy the URL. So here is the endpoint URL, right? You just copy this, and here you can add the endpoint URL. Okay, once you added, so here, as I told you, if it is a visible, then it will shows the input parameters like uh, what has to be updated in order to process the message. You will get it. Since we don't have any, we are just calling the web service URL, right? This is the URL. Once you call, what will happen? It will trigger this iflow. Okay. So what will happen after trigger? So if it triggers, then it will execute. Okay. So whatever the process that has been built, that will start. So to trigger the type flow, we are using this CPI. Okay. So let's do that. So now you have updated the endpoint URL, right? You just click on submit. So on the right hand side, you will expect the message like this is the first iflow. Right? You just click on submit. Okay. If you see the right side, you can see the message, right? This is the my first iflow, and the message is showing. Okay, so that means this is the output that you are seeing it. So let's see now the status of the message and the other details. So now if you wanted to see the message, go to the monitor, and all the messages that you can see under the section called message monitoring, right? You just click on this. So whatever the iflow that we have created, if you see the status is completed. Okay, so status completed means the message, the iflow is executed successfully, right? So here, if you wanted to see that, it will show you the details of the message, I mean logs, and at the same time it will throw an error, it will show that logs as well. Okay. So now this is about the message that it executed, right? So now your question is, what is the use of this UI to trigger that iflow, right? So in the production environment, how the how it works at on the customer side, right? So this URL, okay, is the key, right? So the URL that is generated in the system, that can be called, you can invoke that web service from any point, from any device, any application, need not be to use a SOAP UI. Okay, for example, you have used this URL in success factor system, it is one of the cloud application, right? So once you use this URL in the success factors, and once when it runs, when they call from success factors, the cycle will be executed. Hmm? And the same thing, like if you give any S/4HANA cloud, and wherever you are giving this, it can be executed, this application. So need not be to use SOAP UI always. Okay. So it will work in that way.
You mean to say that, I mean, we need the end user, end URL, in order to expose the end URL to the outside world, we need to use an application. And in that process, like SOAP UI is one of the applications.
Exactly.
Okay. So now we have done this in the development system. So there might be some errors or whatever, like in the development system, we have corrected it. Maybe in the production, the actual content or the corrected one version will be in the production environment usually. So ideally, we
Mm.
need to send the URL generated from the production system, right?
Of course, we will generate from production tenant.
Okay, so in that case, like we need to install this on the production server, right?
Yeah. So once you've done the integration content, when it is migrating to production tenant, you have to
Uh,
once you deploy it, there it will generate the URL
okay, so that's what,
in
like
the
once
production.
we have developed this iflow in the, the development system, we have transported it to the production system. There we need to execute this application in order to expose
Yeah.
the end URL to the. Okay, now got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now let's go back to the iflow that we have developed. So now we have seen the message, right? So what you do is now we can I mean on the sender side, we just configure it. Now the same thing we can configure for the receiver side as well. Okay, so what you do is, You can just drag it like on. Okay. And by the way, the applications or the connectors which are required for this iflow, we can take from this palette. Okay. The palette which is available here, it is like a bucket of applications that are available, and which one is is needed for us, we will select from this place. So this place we call it as a palette. Okay, so all the needed resources that we can use it from this place. So now we have seen the receiver. So now I want to connect it to the receiver. So whatever the data that we are seeing on the SOAP UI, now I wanted to push it to some other system. Okay. So here I'm using the mail server. So I will send, see the same information you're seeing it, right? So this message will goes to the mail. Okay. So you just use, I am using the mail connector. So when you're using the mail server, you need to select the relevant adapter, right? So here we will select the mail. If you see, these all are list of adapters that are available to use in the CPI. Okay, so now you can just click on mail.
There is a difference between the list of adapters at the receiver and the sender end, right?
Exactly, yeah. So because it depends on the business, it needed on the receiver side. So the same amount of adapters are not the same as so sender and the receiver. On the receiver side, there are more adapters are there. So now is the mail connection. For the mail, we will send it to the our. So in the organizations, you can use it your organization email IDs. So here I am using the Gmail to just see the message. Okay. So you can use the connection and you can give your mail server address details. So like this smtp dot your mail server, just give them, and the timeout, keep it the same value. Proxy type is none, and the production level here, the SMTP server production levels. Some people are using TLS based on the protocol of SMTPS. They can select it. Some people will use it. The production is off also. So here we can use SMTPS and authentication. We can use in order to connect to the mail server. I will use the plain user ID and password. And here is the credentials name. What is credentials name? There is a, this field is important. So hmm, credentials name means generally we will give the user ID and password to connect it to the mail server, right? But here we will not give the user ID and password directly here. Okay, so then where we will give directly? So we will update the our user ID and password in our security secured area under the security artifact section. Okay, so there we will update our user ID and password, and from there we will define a alias name for that. So that alias name we will update here in the field called the credentials name. Okay, so for that matter, we will not give in any of the adapters. Wherever if you see in CPI, we will not give the user ID and password directly. Okay, this is just we will update in the secured area. From there, this will read from that section. Okay, so always in the credentials area, credentials name section is the alias names. Okay, so for the user password of this mail server, I have updated in the secured area. So now I'm just giving the alias name. So this is the alias name. Okay. So this alias name should be available there, otherwise it will run. So this alias name is available on the secured area. You can give the just subject and keep it other values as the default, and keep it the security. That's it. See how much easy is it to configure the adapters. You know, this is when you compare with the PI system with the CPI configuration, the adapter is much more complex there. But here, just if you have the details, it is very simple to configure it. So now, save as. And now you click on deploy. So this is deployed
Uh,
successfully.
a small query over here.
Yeah.
Just now we saw that there were two options like save and save as a version. So you have chosen that save as a version option. So
Exactly.
in that case, the earlier version will get obsolete and the new version will get active. Is it something like that?
And now if you click, there are two options, right? Save and save as version.
Yes.
If you click on save, it will override the previous thing, right? That's the save. Save means always the latest things are there. So
Hmm.
if you wanted to see the previous things which were you saved, that cannot be available. Save means always the latest thing is available. But whereas save as version, that means every saving, each time when you are saving, so it will create the version. Okay, so we have the version management. So if you wanted to use the previous versions, you can use it when you are maintaining save as version. When you maintain save, it is just save the latest value, okay, of the iflow.
Understood.
So
Understood.
always you can use save as version. Once you use the save as version, we just see the all the versions here. For example, under the version, there is a column here version, right? You just click
Mm-hmm.
on it, so you can see the all the values of the versions that are available. If you want to go back to the previous version, you wanted to execute, you wanted to continue from there, you just click on log button, so that the previous version that is create that is that you can use it there.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
So now the iflow that is deployed. Now what you do next section, just go to the SOAP UI and you can um, you can execute, right? So just click on it. Okay, so we already seen the output here. So what we need to see, that see the message successful around. See that we have created the message called. Mm. So the endpoint got an error. Why it is got an error? If you see here, endpoint already registered, right? So we need to change the endpoint here because in the inbound, the same URL is available. So that should not be available, right? So what you do is just go back to the outbound URL. Okay. So in the connection messenger, try to reverse. Trial outbound is starting. Just wait for the 1 or 2 seconds in order to just to change the status started. Okay. It will just take a few moments to update deploying. So if you see the endpoint URL that you know that we are using this one, so we just copy this and we can click on add new endpoint. Okay. Okay. So now you just click on submit. Okay, it is new here. So in order to see the message, just go to where you go. Just go to message monitoring, right? Now try that. Now just click on the message monitoring. There you can see trial outbound is completed. The status is completed. Now we want to see the output, right? So net whether we receive the email because we have using the mail connector. So let's see we get an email or not. Huh? So just go to the Gmail.
Now we have created two iflows. One is the inbound and one is the outbound. And
Yeah,
in the outbound, like we are sending the data or we are connected is SAP and the third party system called as mail system, right?
yeah.
And what is the first thing inbound interface we did? Like we use
The
the SOAP
soap,
adapter.
yeah. Since I mean, the sender system is we we have used the soap adapter to connect, but that sender system would be anything. So since we don't have, we are using SOAP UI from the SOAP UI as the sender. Like from the sender we are using the SOAP communication, but from the you know, from the sender point of view, you can use it any system in the real time.
Acha, acha, got it, got it.
Yeah,
So again, I mean, to in a nutshell, we can say that we have connected the inbound and the outbound from the third party systems, third party
exactly.
to SAP and SAP to third party.
Yeah, so now it's the completely different network from sender. At the same time, on the receiver side also, it will send it to you a complete network, different network from SAP to other system. Okay,
Yeah.
so here main focus that we have done is the adapters that we have created. So that has done it. Now, if you see, yeah, so this is the subject that we have created, right? Trial outbound subject, mail subject line that we have seen here, and this is the message that we have created. So therefore, we have got this email from CPI. Okay, so if you know going forward, more and more messages will be created, and that may that you can see it the output in the mail. So through emails you can see how the output is coming, and when we connect it to the receiver systems, how the data is going, everything you can see it in the email, so that you can understand what kind of data that is moving from sender to the receiver. So this is about the mail. And when it comes to the trial message, yes. So you can see the logs of the data. We'll explore more and more about how to debug the iflow also, and the properties that I have been using it. So I have not, in this context, I have not used any elements inside CPI. I just explaining you about how the communication works from sender to the receiver. Okay. So going forward, we will more focus on inside of the CPI. So from the palette, whatever the application that are available, the elements, so those functions will use it inside CPI, but the sender and the receiver systems, okay, if you take any type of adapter, it seems to be like this. Okay, so whether now we are using SOAP as a sender. If we use some other system, this is way that we have to configure it. So the adapters wise, uh, very less. I mean, very easy. They made it very easy. So therefore, we don't bother about what kind of adapters, how to configure it and all. Here, these are the adapters are the ready-made adapters. Like SAP is giving us to use that. Okay, so in that usage, we are just configuring the details, right? So we are not building any new adapter here. So therefore, the configuration is much more easy. Okay, so what is complex now? The iflows. Building a iflow is a complex thing. So that we need to explore more and more.
One more small query, like I mean, for the trial outbound, like here on the left-hand part, what we are seeing, like the soap box and that arrow mark, actually that flow is not readed, right? Like the start point here is the start content modifier and the mail system. That's the flow, right?
Yeah, this is the CPI. Inside the CPI, all the functions that will be between start and end messages. So if you see the start, so any of the adapter that has to connect with the start message. So
No.
therefore, the message will start from there.
My query is like for the trial outbound interface, like actually you have copied the inbound interface and from there you have extended it by adding the mail. But
Mhm.
actually, like I mean, why did you copy that? Like I mean, we can create a fresh one, fresh trial outbound iflow without the soap, right?
Yeah, you can create. You
Okay,
can
so
create without soap also.
is there any reason like you have created the using? Why did you copy the trial inbound to make
No,
that
to
as a?
save the time, I just copied. If you want to
Uh-huh.
create from the scratch, you can do that.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay. So, so Now exercise, I mean, I don't know, you get the access to the system. So once you get that, just try to, similar way, you can use the SOAP adapter and the end adapter, but in the message in the content modifier, try to give a different message between these tags. Okay, and try to see what kind of data that you can see it. And here in the mail, I've used my personal mail. You can use it your personal Gmail also. Okay, so that it will work for you. And if not a mail, at least you can use up to the SOAP adapter. Okay, and it will work very easy. You just try to see how the functionalities looks like. Okay, then going forward we'll start moving to the business series. So tomorrow class will start about the content modifier, the functionality of the content modifier. We will discuss more and more.
Yeah, okay. Just one request from my end. Means, see, will it be possible to share 5-10 minutes on how to import an iflow from Eclipse to Web UI?
Yeah, not now. We have a topic for that. It will take
Okay,
our
we
one
have
hour
it.
time.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Of
Okay,
course.
okay, fine. Thanks.
Yeah.
I just needed that also. Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah, we will cover in our topics.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So, any questions on this inbound and outbound?
As of now, it looks clear. Means, when can we have the access for
Okay.
this?
I check with this guy, Madhu or Ganesh. They
Okay,
will just
okay.
give you access.
Do you have
This
any
is
access? Do you have any exercise sort of thing like wherein we can practice
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that?
The exercises are there. You will from tomorrow onwards you can start. We'll discuss
so you'll
because
be explaining the importance of each and every icon on the palette, like the content modifier or any other uh, mm, icon that
exactly.
that we'll have in there. Okay.
Yes. So whatever the functions that you are seeing from the palette, all the functions will be covered. Okay.
We will be asking your team to send us the list of the applications to download, like in SOAP UI or Postman, which you have said.
Yeah, there are 5 applications are there around that you need to install in the laptop. So anyway, that also will send you along with the documents. We have the documents like a content modifier when we are using it, what is the function, and describing about content modifier. So like that we have a documents for each topic. So along with that, I will ask him to send the list of applications that has to be installed in the software also, in our laptop as well.
Okay.
Uh, do we have a REST adapter in HCI to communicate with web services systems?
Yeah, rest adapter is there, no? It is there.
Okay.
And how many of, I mean, are out of SAP from this group? Is anybody is there from outside SAP? No, right? Okay, so it is good. Mm, so tomorrow, if just try to learn about content modifier, then we will explore more and more options because uh, we will, if you take any topic, but we will discuss very deeply, because since I've been working in the more real time and all, so many things are there to understand. So that it is a better if you not asking about the basic things, but if you explore something about, like we have the SAP forums, you just type content modifier, then you can see a lot of threads. So you just go through that, and if you ask me more and more questions which are interesting, then you will get more insights as well. Right? So you just if you have time, you just read about content modifier. Tomorrow it will we'll discuss on that points. Okay, then I'm stopping here, and we'll continue tomorrow same time. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you all. Yeah.
Thank you.